Have you stressed? Need to laugh off that disaster of a parent-teacher conference? Ready to indulge in those "I wish I could say that" moments? You're in luck, because you've just pressed play on the top-rated teacher comedy podcast on the planet. It's time for Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. Here's your host, the teacher comedian himself, Devin Seabold.
Yo, Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. Thank you all for tuning in. I am broadcasting live on Facebook right now, late night little Facebook shindig. I wanted to get an episode in. I didn't get one out today, and I really wanted to make this happen. So I decided, why not get a little bit of feedback, some comments on the interwebs, and get a little fan interaction for this one. If you're listening to this on the Apple or streaming on Google Play or even over on YouTube, thanks for all the support. I appreciate it. Be sure to hop on over to patreon.com/crying in my car to sponsor the podcast. It's super easy. It's $2.99 a month, and you get bonus episodes, early videos, all my videos that are on Facebook. Guess what? You get them a day early or more, and also tour announcements, as well as tickets to some of these events. Sometimes a lot of Patreons will message me and say, "Hey, can I get tickets?" And I'll go, "You've supported me. Time for me to support you." The tickets are waiting in the box office. So hello from Arizona. Hello from Sarasota. Hello, Heather, for liking my stories. I'm just talking to a little bit of the people online. I want to jump into it, though. I had an interesting day today. I've been losing weight. My weight kind of has plateaued, but that's also because I've been taking on the weights. If you can't tell, I'm looking a little cut. I'm looking a little good. My legs, especially. I've been working out a lot on my legs. And so I've dropped 16 pounds, but now I'm not moving because I think it's because I'm building muscle. I'm drinking a lot of muscle milk and things like that. So, it counters it. That's what I'm telling myself anyways. I also had Chili's for lunch today, so that could be it. No, I've been eating really well. I did have Chili's today, which was the best thing I could have ever done. By the way, if you're thinking about eating junk food and you're on like a health food kick and you're like, I just really want to eat something that's absolutely terrible for you and will make your stomach just ball into a little nuclear bomb inside of your belly, because that's exactly what I did. And I absolutely hate my life for having chose a smokehouse burger at Chili's because my stomach has been killing me. And I was like, yeah, I just need to keep eating healthy, needs to stay the course. So if you decide to stray, don't stray like a little, let me have a little Triscuit with some peanut butter on it. Let me get a little, let me splurge on some Ritz Bits with cheese. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go to Golden Corral, all you can eat buffet, stick your face directly into the chocolate fountain. Here's what you do. You take your fork, you stab a fried chicken slab, and then you put it into the chocolate fountain, and then you take it out of there and you dab it in Reese's Pieces, and then you eat that because that's what you wanted. And that is how you're going to get it. And you're going to be sick and you're going to feel terrible and you'll be back on track tomorrow. This is the best dieting plan ever. I'll be honest with you. This may turn into a paid dieting podcast. I think that these tips are well worth their weight in gold, and I don't know. Maybe I should write a health book. Who knows? By the way, my children's book is coming out soon. Those of you that don't even know anything about it, I really did. I wrote a children's book in the kind of style of Shel Silverstein, and I'm excited to have it come out. The illustrations are working right now. It's coming well, and the printing. You'll see some upcoming updates here shortly. Also, I commented, and I wanted to shout out all the awesome people on Facebook for chiming in here. I commented on a guy's Dry Bar special on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I've been reaching out to Dry Bar trying to get a spot. And this is the interesting thing. The biggest guy on Dry Bar, his name's Brad Upton. He did a special. I mean, it got, I think, 1 billion views. It set the standard for Dry Bar, gave them everything they ever wanted. Then here's what happened is he recommended me and said, hey, you gotta do Dry Bar. And here's the guy's personal email address. And I messaged him, and the guy hit me back and was like, hey, you great. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. And send over a clip. I sent over a clip, and it was clean. It was good, and they want clean. They want crisp, clean. But I didn't hear anything back, and it wasn't a bad clip. It was great. It was way better than some of the stuff. And that sounds incredibly cocky, but some of these guys that are on dry bar are fantastic. But I also know that I'm up to par with them. I won't say I'm better than them because they're friends of mine, and we're all, nobody's, stealing anybody's piece of the pie when it comes to that. They can make infinite number of specials. But I put my name in it, and I think that this is true. They're a very Christian company. Dry Bar is, and they're out of Utah though. So I don't know why Christian comics out of Utah. Are they Mormon or are they? I don't know. Anyways, I do have a joke on YouTube about Chick-fil-A, making fun of Chick-fil-A, and I think that was it. I think that I made fun of Chick-fil-A, and you just don't do that. You don't do that, and I think that he was like, no, not giving him a special, and so no, that's fine. By the way, Avi, thanks for the stars. Appreciate you over on Facebook. If you want to donate stars, you can during this broadcast. If you're listening over on the podcasts, you can go over to the live stream that was. I'll post this as a replay over on Facebook, and you can donate stars as well anytime. The stars really help me because, to be honest with you, comedy is all I have. I'm just doing comedy. That is literally all I'm doing is comedy. And it's great. But it's also terrifying. Like literally, I mean, I put out videos and people don't realize like the videos pay my rent. So if a video doesn't do well, I'm literally like sitting in my house going, okay, well, I guess no electricity this month. I think we'll do without that. So it's so funny. So, stars, whatever. And I say it's so funny, but inside you can tell I'm crying. I'm scared. I'm just kidding. I'm not scared. I'm doing okay. I've got a lot of speaking engagements coming up. I'm performing for some schools. I've got, some great shows. By the way, they're scrolling online. I'm going to be in Tampa. I got a headlining show at the Punchline in Atlanta, Georgia. Those of you in Atlanta that have been dying for a show, it's happening. I'm also going to be in Michigan a lot. Just so you're aware, I have 8 dates coming up in Michigan. If you do not come to at least one of those shows, and then later on, I hear you commenting on one of my videos, hey, when do you come to Michigan? Why don't you come to Michigan? I'm blocking you instantly, instant block, because you didn't show up to the 8 different performances that I have on the books in Michigan. I'm performing everywhere. I'm literally performing at like a Michigan Costco. I don't know. If there's a venue, I'm there. And so Michigan is the new Florida, apparently, in September and October. I'll be up there. So if you're up there, please. And yeah, if you haven't watched my if you haven't watched my Only Teachers video I just did, I posted that on Facebook. It was a great little parody of teachers, doing a Only style fans. I can't put those 2 words together because they'll flag me here on Facebook. And Only Teachers, you know what it is. Anyways, that video was so much fun to do. I have so many outtakes of that, by the way. I have a lot of outtakes. I think I'm going to put together an outtake video and just put that out too. Thanks, Joy, for the stars. I gotta. Oh, awesome, Jenny. I'll see you in Tampa next week as well. But yeah, I gotta I gotta step it up a little bit with these outtakes because I have usually like 15 minutes of video. And then I narrow it down to like 3 because Facebook's magic number is 3 minutes. Videos have to be 3 minutes long. If you're ever watching one of my videos and you're like, this is long, it has to be. I hate to say that, but they don't monetize anything under 3 minutes. And if they do, I did a non-monetized. So I actually did a video that was non-monetized just to give you an idea, a little behind the scenes. People that always wonder, how much money do you make on these videos? So when it comes to Facebook videos, I make about $100 per 50,000 views. I'd say about that. So that's not much, about $100 per 50,000 views. If it's under 3 minutes and I get 50,000 views, that $100 becomes, and I'm not making this up, I can literally show you, it becomes like 17 cents. So it has to be longer than 3 minutes or it will not go well. I won't not only be able to afford rent, I won't be able to afford the internet to even upload the video in the first place. So Yeah, I'm glad you like the videos. So if you see a video online, the best thing you can do is share it. If you've never supported me in any other way, share the videos. That's all I got to say. And hopefully I'll get that dry bar special. Maybe I'll get on Ellen on her last season. Maybe I'll get on Kelly Clarkson's show finally, or maybe I'll just sit here and talk into my webcam at 9 o'clock at night on a Wednesday evening, like I always do. Thank you so much for the support. For awesome. Yeah, I'll throw the outtakes for sure up on the Patreon, Christy. I've given you guys on Patreon some outtakes before, especially the Disney ones, some extra ones, extra little clips. If you're on Patreon, you've seen it. Anyways, I did want to address some other stuff too. So I put out a teacher wish list again. Last year I did this. I think I personally spent $1,500 on teacher wish lists. Last year I had 300 comments on my teacher wish list post. So if you go to my Facebook, there's a little Amazon logo and it says post your teacher wish list, and I'll do my best to fill it. I got some businesses that are chiming in. I saw tons of comments of random strangers chiming in, friends of people that commented paying for stuff, filling lists. If you're a teacher, facebook.com/Devin Comedy. Go to my comedian page and then just put your list. By the way, I don't make any money on this. I lose an absolute fortune because I've already paid for a ton of stuff on there for people. And it's so crazy too, because I look, let me tell you, I don't know if you've ever bought a gift for somebody, but I look at my phone and I about have a heart attack 400 times a day. Because it's like your Amazon package was delivered. Your Amazon package was delivered. You delivered it. We delivered your Amazon package. These are gifts that I've purchased for other people, but it shows up on my app like I've delivered a package to me. And so I'm like, what did I buy? And then I click on it and it's like markers for somebody in Okaloosa. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry, that wasn't it. And I keep doing that to myself. It literally tricks me every single time. But I put money in. I'm buying stuff. I've already bought a lot of items. I'm going to be buying a ton more tonight. In fact, if you're watching this on Facebook and you have not put your wish list up, put it up now. I'm going to go through immediately when I get off this and just start buying stuff. And so, yeah, and make sure your address is updated. Make sure you have a gift address. If you want privacy, that's fine too. I can select the gift address. Just make sure you do that. Also, businesses, Britt and Bo, shout out to them. Shout out to Britt and Bo for putting another year. They did that last year. They paid for a bunch of supplies for teachers, and they did it again this year. And there's also a tutoring company, and I'm so mad at myself that it's slipping my mind, but it's on the post. Support them as well, like their page. And thank you, Barbara. Thanks for the stars. I appreciate that. And yeah, so I go through and I buy and hope that other people buy as well. Just so you're aware, though, this is where I'm giving you one big opportunity. If you own a business, you have an Etsy shop, you like to make stuff and sell things, or you have something online they can buy, peanut brittle outlet, I don't know, whatever you got. If you want to support, it's real easy, $50. That's it. All I ask is $50 from you to buy teacher supplies. You can either give it to me, or you can buy them and just simply send me the screenshot that you spent $50 on other people's lists, and I will give your business a shout out to the Patreons. I'm sorry, not to the Patreons, to the supporters on Facebook, and so that they will know that you're supporting teachers, because that's great. You know, you put $50 of your money towards helping out teachers. I want to give you a little love back and inspire people to do that. And also, don't forget, if you bought for somebody else, send me a direct message, and I will, and with your address and showing me you bought for somebody else, and I will send you a free sticker. We already sent out like 20 stickers. So I'm happy. I'm thankful for those people. They're already in the mail. Thank you, Kate. Thanks for helping out with that. She helped out with that. And so, yeah, definitely get those into me. And I'm going to mail out the stickers as quick as possible. I can do crying in my car stickers, reply all stickers. I can do teacher stickers. I got tons of stuff. And if I run out of stickers, I got more stuff. I've got a whole bunch of merch just laying around that nobody's bought. I've even got reply all keychains. Look at that. I've got all sorts of things, which, by the way, you can devincomedy.com for merch. So if you want, I'm just trying to get the help to the teachers. because they need it this year, even more so than last year, because I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of teachers that were virtual or hybrid last year, and we're just having a hard time with online stuff. And now they're going to go back to their classroom after a year of neglecting the physical class and have so much things that they need. And there's a lot of students who were out for a year and who were at home and only needed a laptop, and now they need tons of supplies as well. And teachers, I know, are going to step up and provide that, because we always do. Obviously we want the parents to, but you got to have a stockpile of your own kind of on the side. So shout out to all the teachers and people that are helping out, and shout out to everybody that is contributing as well. And again, just send me a message online, or you can message cryinginmycar@gmail.com if you got an inquiry or something, and I have to check. And just so you know, it takes me a little bit to get to the messages. It's not me, it's the Book of Faces. The app, the way it works for pages is way different than it works for personals. They do not show me that I got messages. I have to literally go in on a laptop, click over to my page, open the page's specific messages, and then they open. It's not the same. Messenger on my phone does not work. Yeah. So if I don't respond right away, I'm getting there. Thanks, Christy, for the stars too. I appreciate it. But anyways, yeah, the teachers need help. Even though I'm not teaching, I still would love to help them and do as much as possible. So definitely. And I have another thing that I'm working on behind the scenes that I want to, I'll introduce later. I'm not going to introduce it now. I don't want to put too much on your plate. Just do the teacher wish list. All right, now it's time to jump into one of my favorite sections on this particular podcast, Teachers in the News.
From classrooms to chaos, we searched high and low for the craziest teacher stories this week. Here are your Teachers in the News.
By the way, I feel so bougie. By the way, I'm online. I'm literally talking to these people on Facebook right now, and I'm like, if you could just donate stars, 50 cents at a time, that'd be great. I can't afford rent. And here I am drinking a Voss water. Is that not the most hypocritical thing? It's literally the save the planet and then hop on the private jet, moment for me. Sorry. I've had this sitting in my fridge for forever. This was from a greater time during the pandemic. Oh man, it was terrible for everybody, but it was great for video views. It was because everyone's home. Now everybody's off doing their own thing. Oh, and by the way, if you don't follow me on Facebook, it may do you well just to update your follow settings. There's some way to do it. I don't know. But at the top, you can actually click notifications and then put me towards the top. That way you see, because to be honest with you, I'm looking at the numbers and I don't know how I have 131,000 followers and like literally 10,000 people will see any of my posts, unless they all just got off Facebook, which makes sense. The politics of it lately have kind of been crazy. Sierra, thanks so much for the stars, and congratulations, by the way. Sierra graduated. That's a former student of mine. She graduated. I'm so proud of her. I was looking at the photos online, and it's always great to see your students doing big things, and even bigger things are in store. I guarantee it. A wonderful person. All right. Now let's go on here. This is an interesting story. First time pass rates on teacher licensure is what it says, but that doesn't sound right to me. I'm sure it's right though. Exams were secret until now. Did you know that? I didn't know that. The pass rates on teacher exams were hidden. Now, law and nursing, those stats have been available for a long, long time. But apparently, nationwide, teacher licensing exam pass rates have been hidden. And apparently, they've been hidden for good reason, because teachers aren't passing the test. And not only are they not passing the test, but of the people that don't pass the test, the statistics show that 25% of those that do not pass the test the first time never reattempt it. And also, it's disproportionately people of color that are not taking it again. Why? What's going on with this? So now we have the numbers. We can kind of dive into the psychology behind it and find out what's going on. And some of the numbers, by the way, are quite embarrassing. Thanks, Christy, for the stars. I appreciate that. If you go to this particular analysis of all the data, it blows my mind. But apparently there's even so they're looking at the preparation. Some areas do not have great pass rates. Florida has a terrible pass rate on the exam, but also it has one of the highest rates of money to pay to take it. Some of these exams are on $200. It's just milking teachers for money over and over and over again. And we just putting money into the hands of these private exam firms and into these preparation companies. And then not only that, this is the thing. This is the crazy thing. And you're right, Jenny. Exactly. $150 pop is not cool. Here's the other thing. Some of these areas where the testing is not up to par, like there's not great passing rates, there's actually preparatory schools that are established. Get this, there's a preparatory school in Florida where they're helping teachers to learn learn the exam, to how to pass it. And I'm not making this up. They actually had a 0% first time pass rate. What? What? A 0% first time pass rate. 6 states, Connecticut, Florida, Louisiana, New Jersey, South Carolina, and Virginia have at least one teacher prep program where not a single test taker passed on the first attempt. And yet they're still open. And teachers don't know this. Would you ever sign up for a school where nobody passed? No. And who's funding these schools and these programs? And oh my gosh, I mean, we sit here and go, oh, thanks, Governor such and such for the $500 raise. I appreciate that. Oh, by the way, the licensing program, the test, taking this is going up, and we're going to do, this, and you're not going to pass it, by the way, and you're going to have to take it again, and then again, and then again. Oh, and now you have to take the reading certification exam. Oh, now you have to also take the ESOL certification exam. Oh, now you also have to take the ESE certification exam. And now you have a kid with autism in your class. You have to take the autism certificate, and then you have to take a medical, and it's every single time just money, and we're forking it over. Eats away, and there's no, the rates are terrible. The rates are terrible. I mean, horrible. It's just, it blows my mind. But and just so you know, that's not just teacher tests. Like there's actual student tests that are being developed where the kids aren't passing, and they're just, using that. The county is paying money for tests to be developed that are not accurately measuring what they say they are. And, I remember in particular, the county that I taught in, 1 year we had an actual test that was designed by the county to give to the students for end of subject exams. And my students did terrible. And I was like, wow, man, am I that bad of a teacher? And then we get an email and they're like, oh, by the way, we've looked at the results, and anything over a 57 out of 100 is passing. What? So the test is that bad? The test is that terrible that 57 and up is passing? I mean, I don't know. It's and how much money did we spend on that? So it's just ridiculous. All right, next one. All right, this is kind of cool. In Peru, a teacher has won the presidential election. And man, I tried to find a picture of this. Somebody please comment on Facebook with a picture of this after this is over. It says, and I looked, I couldn't find it, but it says that this particular this guy Castillo, who won, by the way, Pedro Castillo, he has a pencil the size of a cane. It's the symbol of his Peru Libre Party. And I want to see that. I want to see the pencil the size of a cane. I want to see it. That's awesome. I can't imagine. I would so pimp walk right into school, twirling the pencil cane. That's awesome. That's great. But anyways, he won. He won. So a teacher is going to be president of Peru. That's fantastic. And apparently this guy won by just 44,000 votes. And he went out there and said, you know what? I'm going after the poor. I'm going after the lower class, the people that want a voice to be heard. And apparently they went out and voiced their voice. They voiced their voice in the vote. And it worked. And so he won. So congratulations to him. I've often thought about politics. Maybe one day. All right, next one. This is kind of an interesting one. A Bowling Green teacher has been working with the district for 20 years. This Bowling Green teacher apparently has been unanimously approved for immediate suspension without pay or benefits and pending termination proceedings. Now, I thought this person must have done something terrible, but as I read the accusations, it sounds to me like somebody hates them and just is after them. It's a very interesting dynamic here. He's accused of, and I'm going to read off the charges, leaving work early after the first period without proper approval twice. Attempted to use personal leave in violation of terms of the collective bargaining agreement. Sent an email in violation of school board policy, which states emails should be used only for business purposes. Sent an email that disparaged a district administrator and district employees, and sent an email in violation of a directive of a superintendent, and sent an email that included the names of students and their personal information in violation of the Family Rights and Privacy Act twice. First off, I've seen 900 emails come through my email of students' personal information. It usually says confidential in the heading. I think every teacher in the world has violated the non-official use email policy. Talking poorly about district administration and employees, I'm sorry, but I think they've all violated that as well. And also personal leave in violation of the collective bargaining agreement. Apparently used personal leave at a time where it wasn't suitable. I know for a fact that the personal and sick leave line is very thin at the teacher level. And I'm sorry, but getting fired for those instances, I just think somebody's out to get them. I don't think that person, I think they rubbed somebody in that district office the wrong way with that whole spoke poorly about the district. And I think that they've got a target on their back. They're appealing the suspension. Oh, thank you, Christina. I'm going to check out the pencil thing. But anyways, somebody posted on Facebook, by the way, the pencil picture that I was looking for. That sounds sounds dirty. Look under my only teachers for the pencil pick. So here's the deal. I think that somebody's out to get them. I hope that they win that appeal, or I hope that the suspension is overturned. I definitely hope termination is not in the cards. They've been in the district for 20 years. After 20 years, we're going to all have a little bit of violations here or there. Just true story. You can't, I don't know. All right. The next one. I am interested in this. I'm putting this all on your, Joe is not joining me this stream. That would be nice though. I wish he would join me. I might text him and see if he wants to, but normally he's busy. He's doing diva things. He's probably got some shows. But here's the thing. I want to say this. I normally don't recommend other podcasts mid-podcast, but I think I might end this podcast and listen to the podcast that I'm about to tell you, because I just read about it. I have a lot of fans in Australia. Did a tour over there with Joe, speaking of Joe. And there's an interesting story over there. I love murder mystery type stuff, but apparently there's an Australian school teacher, and you've heard of this if you're from Australia. Trust me, apparently it's like huge in the news over there. She was 51 years old. She was divorced, and she was a single mother. And she told her children she was taking a sabbatical to travel the world for a few months, and then is never heard from again. Apparently, these children were left behind, were told that their mother was going off to just, visit some countries over in Europe and come right back. And then in 1997, one phone call back home said she's doing fine. Everything's great. Never heard from again. They notified the police, and the police apparently did an investigation themselves and said their mother has disappeared voluntarily, is alive and well, case closed, and will not discuss anything, where she is, what she's doing. It's all privacy related. And these kids, 20 plus years later, looking for their mom. What the heck, mom? Where'd you go? Apparently, she sent some normal phone postcards, had phone calls to friends. 24 years later, the kids are like, hey, what happened to mom? And they started doing an investigation through a local reporter and uncovered that apparently after the kids spoke to the mom in 1997, she did return to Australia for 8 days and drained her entire bank account at the sum of $5,000 a day, and then left and reassumed a new identity going by Florabella Remekel, living in Luxembourg. And no trace of her has ever been found. Just that information is there. What? So apparently there's a podcast, and the podcast is called The Lady Vanishes. And I kind of summed it up for you, but they said at the end of it that apparently the actual investigation is just starting, and apparently the police have decided to start releasing more info. Never before seen information is expected to be released by the Australian government, so the government stepped in, and we're going to find out apparently what happened to this woman. But it's kind of weird, told her kids she'd be back, shows up in Australia, doesn't tell them she's there, mystery trip, drains her entire bank account, $5,000 a day, leaves, assumes a new identity in Luxembourg, was a school teacher, loved her kids. That's crazy. There's something there. Yeah, CIA operative, maybe. I don't know. I just thought that was crazy. Florida in February, Chelsea. I'll definitely have some shows in. Thanks over the stars, by the way. So The Lady Vanishes is the podcast. I'm sure there's way more details. Check it out. I'm going to check it out after this. It sounds to me like it's like a serial type podcast. Excuse me. All right. Also in Australia, because I love the Australians, they're doing it right over there. By the way, massive teacher shortage in Australia too. Who knew? We didn't all like being treated that way for the past year. So Australia's got a pretty cool idea. And when I read about it, I thought, why did we not do something like that? Why is this not something that I've heard of before? Why are we waiting till now? Apparently, they are starting a brand new early education body positivity program. And it is ran by the Butterfly Foundation, which is a charity for people affected by eating disorders. And it uses positive psychology to help kids be happy with their bodies and to stay active. It teaches students about risks and protective factors under 6 headlines: brave, resilient, inclusive, grateful, happy, and thoughtful, and aims to develop their self-esteem and acceptance, as well as arming kids with the tools to call out bullying. We've had that in schools. Improve media literacy so they can be this is a good one. And improve media literacy so they can be aware of unhealthy body stereotypes in advertising. I mean, you have no idea. And Sierra, if she's still watching, can verify this. I have preached this over and over again, that social media would be the downfall of these children because of these unrealistic body stereotypes that are in print, in media. And so these kids idolize people that are able to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to change the contours of their waist. And yet they think that that's the way they need to look. And so they go to the gym and it doesn't happen because they don't know that it's not natural. This is something that is pretty good. So they have a body image program that they are starting to implement. It is called the Butterfly Body Bright and has been mapped to the current PE and health curriculum standards in each area of Australia. And it sounds pretty impressive. So these educators gave incredible feedback to it. They say it's a great resource. They're lucky to have amazing people who put in time and effort into creating this type of content. I'll be honest with you. If you go to Butterfly Foundation, it looks like some of the content in this particular article that I'm looking at is actually available. So what I mean by that, and I hope I'm not stepping on any toes, but in the United States, we don't really have something like that I can think of. Maybe we do. I don't, teach the lower grade levels, but if you do, great, continue to do that. But I don't know. This might be something you might be able to implement in your classroom. And I don't mean to implement it like the full on program, but maybe in a few lessons or two, helping the kids feel better about who they are physically and developing better mental health. I know that as I was growing up in school, there was a lot of things that you noticed as a child that you didn't really latch on to. And for example, there's some girls that develop breasts a little bit earlier in life, and I just remember students would mock them, make fun of them, hurt their self-esteem, and not really understand what that was all about. So we didn't even know the process. I mean, and here's the thing: you lock kids up in a room and show them, puberty videos, and this is how it's supposed to go. But you're telling them about their own. You're not telling about the opposite sex. You're not telling them about what's going on in the other parts of the world, so to speak. And it creates unknowns, and unknowns generate unhealthy dialogue. If dialogue, it could be if it could be called dialogue at all. I think it's more along the lines of just bullying and insecurities and things like that. But that's something that definitely I think needs to be addressed in schools. Not only that particular, not that particular instance, but I think overall, with the barrage of what kids are seeing on TV and stuff like that, just doesn't make sense. I mean, I see this stuff too, and I luckily grew up without that stuff, but I can't imagine growing up seeing, The Rock and Chris, Evans and all these superstars ripped, and then me going to the high school gym and doing a few curls and hoping that I could get like that. And you don't even realize they don't look like that. That's just the movies. And even, what's his name? Not Chris Evans, the Chris Hemsworth. He said, he goes, I looked like Thor for one day when they filmed it. After that, he goes, I did not look like Thor. And the reason being is because it's just unsustainable body types that even they can't sustain with all their power. But hopefully, kids learn from that. But shout out to Australia for doing that. Amazing. Hopefully that can be a positive thing. So anyways, thank you so much, obviously, for supporting the podcast, for listening in. Patreon.com/crying in my car. If you want to support, $2.99. You get not only stuff from the podcast, but you also get stuff from Facebook. You get updates on tour info and also tickets to shows. I got a lot of shows coming up. Winter Haven, August 12th. Port Charlotte, August 25th through 29th, doing a full one down there. If you're in Sunrise, Florida, that's South Florida on the East Coast, on September 10th, I'm doing a show for Outlaugh Hunger. I do it every year. It's an actual, and that's where I met Brad Upton from Dry Bar. Call back. Anyways, it's a fantastic little benefit that they do for the Treasure Coast Food Bank to raise money to get more food for the food bank to help out the homeless and the needy in South Sunrise, Florida. So it's a great little opportunity to that I love to headline because we raise a lot of money for, a great cause. So if you're down there, and then don't forget Punchline in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm finally coming for you. I've been waiting for a great Atlanta date, and this is one of them. Fantastic club. Looking forward to it. And and so definitely I'm excited about getting a few shows out on the road. Like I said, Michigan's on the way, and I'm still in talks for Texas. I promise. Texas is coming. I'm just having such a hard time. It's like Texas is I don't know. It's becoming a big ordeal. Everything's bigger in Texas, apparently. All right. So anyways, thank you so much for supporting and for watching and all the stars. I appreciate y'all. Be sure to share stuff online. And I will be back next week with a brand new episode right here of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers.
Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast 5 stars. Submit all your awesome teacher stories to cryinginmycar@gmail.com and check out Devin on tour. Info and merch can be found at devincomedy.com. Support the podcast on patreon.com/cryinginmycar and get exclusive weekly bonus episodes. And tune in every week for more hilarious stress relief for teachers right here on Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers.